meeting bago na ako malimtan. So, your topics for your second examination, as you can see kung naamoy gi-download na syllabus, it is about vices and drugs. Basically, drugs, their sources, classification, and effects. Okay? So, ayun. By the way, na ako'y ipakita sa inyo ha, this would serve as a complicated link para makuha ninyo inyong ebook. Gitry na ni sa ubang sections pero my God, it didn't really work. So, na, makitaan ba ninyo ang QR code? Is the QR code clear sa inyo ha?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Oh, blue. Anyway, so kanang QR code ayon ng pinakailalom kay na use na. Kani man good ang wise man books. Naghatag sila QR codes I mean. So iba't iba yan. Once you scan it, yung gagawin nyo dapat una is first to anong term nila dito? You need to download yan may ano diyan, download the Wise Man Books flippable app by um Entice Acts. Anyway, yung Wise Man Books na flippable app naman na sa Google Play. So, i-download sa ato ninyo na app and then if you have a QR scanner app, gamitin nyo yun. Kung wala, you still need to download a QR scanner para mascan ninyo ning mga QR codes na ginapakita nako. Okay? And then once you scan it, mag-appear man na sa inyong app na naman ay link. So i-click ninyo ang link and then ang link naman na siya new tab ana. Ang makita ninyo naman ay user code. So, yung user code manggagaling sa Wiseman Books na flippable app. Okay? So, ipakita na ako ng QR codes nila. Panuhak ning Wiseman, gihago-hago rang tanan. Wala na lang jud gi-ipab. Okay? So, yan yon. I will share it to you after the meeting. Okay? So, okay. Was there a question? May pangutana ba? Standby sa mo dira kay i-convert sana ako ning file nako para makasugod. By the way, kamusta ang exam ninyo? Murag na ako'y gi-bonus dito. Isa ka item sa multiple choice. So, lipay mo na may plus, di man plus 1 jud, na may 1 point na madungag sa inyong score. Magsugod pa kog check sa inyong section. og sa laing section tong 317. So sa tan-aw nako daghan sigurong unsa diri mga line of 3 na natanaw nato kung mao ba jud. Okay, kamusta man ninyo ang exam? Lisod ba to? Lisod bang exam ninyo or wala lang choco ra? Okay lang bang exam ninyo? Base nang uban dira ha magreklamo na sa unsa ba na sa maning exam oy easy man kaayo ana ba? Anyway, yan. By the way, sa update pala, yung mga nangangarap maging, of course, kasagaran sa inyo, policeman jud, na ba'y gusto dira mo appeal o sabi na, mahimong bodyguard ni Kibuloy, walay nangandoy ana dire, nag-criminology kay gusto maprotektan si Kibuloy, wala ba? Wag naa man ata. Anyway, so update pala sa botong 23-0 ata yon sa Senado. They have agreed that ang pagbaba ng height requirement sa mga mag-a-apply sa PNP, BFP, BJMP at sa Bureau of Corrections. So, yun. Gilower nila ang height limit. 5'2" and 5 feet. Yan. So, mas mapadali ang or mas marami ang mabibigyan ng tsansa na makasama sa pulis pangkalawakan. Anyway, so much for that information. I will share to you the topics for this second exam coverage. Yan. Mao na ang SIM, ihatag na ako na aside sa naa na dira sa inyong ULOB. Anyway, so let's start. Yan. Maklaro ba or sa ba na sakit sa mata or it really hurts ba makitaan ang unsa ang mga letters dili ba sakit sa mata? Yes, Mr. Mira, ikaw ba tong nagkalit o sa hand? Okay ba? Hindi ba siya it really hurts? Anyway, let's proceed ha. Isang bagsakan lang to. Vice. Okay? Hindi si Vice Ganda or si Lenny Robredo. When we say vice, it is the immoral conduct or habit. Yan. So, when we say habit, it is not a one and done procedure. Continuous yang ginagawa. Initially, a habit is developed through acquiring it. You acquire that action. And then, everyday or constantly mong ginagawa, nagiging habit. But when we say vice, it is an immoral habit, the indulgence of which leads to depravity, wickedness, or corruption, or any other negative result. Yan, vice. So, vice sa Tagalog, sa Tagalog sa vice, nabay makabalo kinsay o yun say Tagalog sa vice, bisyo
Busy, sir.
ba?
Busy.
O bisyo, dili bise, lay pod na, bisyo. With regards to the definition, bisyo. So, ang bisyo would always have a negative effect. Naiuban nga siguro to satisfy one's needs, mentally or physically, there are some na nagkaroon ng bisyo tungod kay para mahimong in or unsang term ana para sukarap ba ana sukarap na astig daw. So there are different reasons why individuals have vices or may mga bisyo. So the reason why we need to study vices and drugs in general is to know the specific effects of those, and of course to alert us and to give us additional knowledge on why those people or how does those people experience things while being under the influence siguro ng drugs or ng iba pang bisyo, including cigarette smoking. Nabay mga smoker na nothing against you pero wag niyong bugahan ang tao, yun lang. That's a vice. It has effects, negative effects, but we must respect it. Kung yan ang gusto nila, this is a free country. You can do what you want. Yan. Di ba? Wa may problema ana. Basta, gawin sa tamang lugar. Okay? One of those importance in studying vice is also to connect those people who may be using them and also to those people who cannot really understand why are they into vices. Yan. And how does it affect to the community? Okay? Yan. One of the most, if not one of the most used and most politically and siguro sa entertainment mas pinapakitang bisyo is smoking. Na dugay na ang smoking. Sa una, it is the pure tobacco, not chemicalized or walang chemical additives. Atong mga baga na mga pipes, na mga tobacco pipes, yan. So, yun ang ginagamit noon. Ang content noon ng tobacco pipes is yun, yung tobacco with nicotine, yung pure na mga herbal products. Dati, ni kanang ginanguya na nila sa mga ancient people. But then, it had adverse effects, especially sa gums and sa teeth, that they said, bakit di na lang ito i-smoke or ilagay sa isang container which would have less contact with the gums and the teeth. So, binalot nila. Ginawang tobacco pipe. Yan. So, it has been into our culture also for a very long time. Yan. So, naman ko PPT dire about the components ng cigarettes, yung cigarettes ngayon. Actually, yung cigarettes na sinosmoke ngayon ng mga tao, they are traditionally called ladies cigarettes. Bakit? Kasi nung 40s, 1940s hanggang 1960s, ang halos nag gumagamit niyan are females. Yung mga mayaman na mga females. Yan. Originally, the reason why smoking exists is because to ease the pain or make the user be more calm, and to relax. Yan. Considered as a depressant. Actually, some of it, narcotics. Yan. Anyway, so yun, smoking. Ang mga lalaki noon, katong pipe jud, na tumbaga na pipe. Lucky for them, those used before are still having less chemicals in it compared today. Kasi ngayon, lahat ng cigarettes, even vape, na may adverse effects. Na, especially sa baga. 1 year of use or of smoking, tapos every day ang sinosmoke mo, mga 3 or 4 na sticks, could really make your lungs or certain part of your lungs, mura na siya kanang gi-barbecue na. Kanang pagod na barbecue. Mao na na. How much more for decades of use of smoking. Yan. Okay? One of those also considered as a vice is drinking coffee. Yan. Coffee contains what we call caffeine na pampasigla or in order for a person to be constantly alert during sa time. So, mao na na. Coffee started in Europe, specifically in Italy or sa Venice, and it was shipped there from the Middle East. Yan, 1600s. So, coffee has been modified throughout the years to the point na pati dumi ng isang animal, once it is fermented, pwedeng maging masarap daw na kape. Okay? That seems weird, pero yun, it might happen. Okay? Sunod, one of those vices na common sa society ngayon, gambling. Sugal. Na daghang sugal, whether sugal sa casino, sugal sa sabong, of course, mama nang nagapabuya na, sugal sa dalan, hantak, na madjong, na chikitsa, mabana na ba na yung sugal dira, or other forms of gambling sa sports. Na, aside sa cockfighting, horse derby, kanang gapatad mo og para sa kabayo, or even kanang pustanay na kinsa mo daog ha, Celtics, Raptors, Lakers or Lakers or Rockets, Bucks or kanang sa basketball pustanay na, or even pustanay sa Dota or sa ML or sa PUBG. That's still a form of gambling. All of those violations of the law. Except yung mga gi-regulate, like casino gambling. Regulated yan ng government. Pero yung iba, like for example, na pustaanay sa Dota, na pustaanay sa basketball, last two. That is illegal. Gambling. Gambling yan. Okay? So, gambling is defined as any act or activity of betting money in order to gain money, and of course the result would depend on how much money would be gained. Of course, ang key terms ana mga kaibigan, chance or hazard, 'di ba? May mga gambling dens na kung saan malakihan ang pera. Of course, when you gamble something, you take a chance. And if you lose a game, it results to hazard or despair or devastation ba na. Naiuban nga ni daog una, so siguro nagkaroon ng greed or kanang pagkahakog, nipatad pa siya sunod, nipatad pa og continuous hangtod sige kapil din na hurot, 'di ba? Yung isang panalo mo na lang na entice ka na or ang colloquial term na addict ka na, continuously nagapatad na ka. That's gambling. You take a chance, you might win, you might lose, you might never know. Even ka ng mga poker na it's regulated but still it's gambling. There's a chance na manalo ka. You're taking a chance. There's also hazards if you lose. Yan. Chance of hazard, kumbaga. Which directs us to its definition. Yan. Keyword ninyo for chance of hazard, there is an uncertainty sa resulta ng laro. Yan. Hindi mo alam eh. Not, not unless kung gibaligya ang dula. Na for example, pustaanay mo sa Mosquito League Barangay. Kunya, siguro, nagkaroon ng agreement, katong gamay nga team ang mudaog niya, katong dako na magpapilde na. Wala nang chance noon, wala nang uncertainty. But if it is really pure gambling, there's uncertainty with every move. Yan na yun. Of course, when the outcome of the game is incapable of calculation or incapable of direct knowledge, yan. Let's consider having a chance of hazard. Okay, sunod. Yan. Drinking for 11. Yan. Drinking for 11. Kapoy na sige kanta. Anyway, so drinking is one of the oldest vices and most common vices being done in this planet. Ambot lang sa mga alien sa Andromeda kung nagainom ba na sila. But of course, I have said that drinking is a form of a depressant. It's considered as a depressant. Kung saan, ang depressants, ang kanilang purpose is to lower guard or lower the tension ng katawan, mentally and physically. Yan. But of course, some others drink in excess. Yan. So of course, that comes kung sa Pilipino pa sigig kanta, sobraan na og may way ana. Or may iba na umiinom kay tungod na ay drama sa kinabuhi. Na? Mao na. Those are just some of the reasons. So drinking liquor involves its contents, alcohol. There are two types of alcohol. Yan yung tinatawag na ethanol and methanol. Okay? So, I would have an assignment on those. Yan. Ano ba ang methanol? Ano ba ang ethanol? At saan doon yung pwedeng ma-ingest or ma-administer ng isang human being? Yan. So again, alcohol is one of the oldest intoxicants created when grains, fruits, or vegetables are fermented. Naiuban nga, for example, wine, hindi ganun or maliit lang talaga ang alcohol content. Meron ding iba na sobrang lakas ng tama. Yan. So, ever since it became famous and used, it has continuous effects not only on the user but of course on the producer. Yan. Most of the times, it devastates life. Marami ng kanta dati, marami ng winasak na tahanan, marami ng pusong ano yun, sinugatan, di ba? It's really the reality. Yan. And of course, every nation, if not all of the nations, have certain laws to regulate and to prohibit the drinking of alcohol on certain places and on certain times. Okay? So, as you can see, below that, alcohol production involves the process of fermentation or being fermented. Kinsa may taga Cebu diri, wala yung mga kababayan nako, mga Cebuano. Puro man siguro mo bulanon, madlok mo sa kayo aeroplano. Anyway, so Dito sa Cebu naman dito ang planta sa San Miguel, makita ninyo na may building dito na sa sulod na ay dakong drum. It contains the alcohol which is at that process being fermented, or a process that uses yeast or bacteria to change the sugar level or convert its sugar in the food or any other source into alcohol. And that alcohol can be ingested by humans. Fermentation is used to produce many items. Napakarami. Suka. Yung commercialized na suka, they are fermented na. Dato puti, silver swan, fermented lahat ng suka niyan. Okay? Itong uban na medyo dili kay sikat na brand, pero nagiging commercial, fermented na. Katong mga native jud na suka, mao jud to ang lami ipares. Because ang fermentation nila hindi ganon ka chemicalized compared sa mga commercialized masyado na vinegar. Yan. Okay? So, are there any questions yet? Questions. Questions, my friends. Do you have any question? Nabay pangutana? Questions, you can just raise hand. Raise your hand or i-on na ninyo ang microphone ninyo. Wala, Jude? Okay. Kung wala, next. Alcoholism refers to the state or condition of a person produce drinking intoxicating liquor excessively. Yan. And of course, once masobra na, it becomes a habit. Then, it will become a vice. Yan. Yung state or condition na palagi na siyang umiinom. Yan na yun. Alcoholism. Sunod, that is the state or condition, yung taong subjected to that state or condition of constantly or habitual drinking is called alcoholic. Yan yung tao na palaging umiinom ng alcoholic beverages. Yan. So once he continuously intakes alcohol, it develops certain physical and psychological changes after intaking or even during intaking na. Magmaoy siguro ang uban magstorya, ang uban siguro may mong very violent na. Okay? Next is the effect of alcohol into our body is very much dangerous. Labaw na kung actually drinking alcohol more than what is due for a single person, labaw na kung mahimo na ng habitual, would slow down the function not just of the central nervous system or yung uh, state natin mentally, but also it blocks or even creates a disease, especially sa liver, yung salaan ng ating katawan. Salaan natin. So, it might, of course, result into liver cirrhosis or yung siguro slowly pag-aagnas ng liver or could result to cancers na or alcohol poisoning kasi sobra na ang alcohol content na nanatili sa katawan. It could affect vision, movement, perceptions, emotions, feelings, pati pandinig. Okay? Questions. Na, malapit na tayo sa mga exciting part. Questions. Wala, good. Wala dyan mo questions. Hapit na to sa exciting part. Okay? So, I'll show you a document, siguro presentation about yung kanina, about methyl and ethyl alcohol. Asan doon yung pwede kay human being? After this, dito na ta, prostitution na ta. Yan, yan. Di, sandali lang. Gina-convert pa na ako ang document. By the way, wala may balita sa inyo, ano? Wala yung mga maayuhon dira. Wala ba'y mga balita dira na by the way, tungod ay naamantay ebook dire, tung QR code would be presented or would be sent sa inyong LMS as soon as possible. Dapat ma-scan na ninyo to kay daghang kalaban ato, individual man di ay itong QR code, pero daghan naman ang nagamit, so I don't know how that happened. Anyway, so alcoholism, yan, frequent intake of alcohol which results into psychological and physiological effects, and in the long term magkakaroon na ng tinatawag na dependence. Hindi na siya mabubuhay pag walang alcohol, walang inumin. Yan. Wala na ilim ng makahubog. Yan. And that state of intoxication is the state of being subjected to the effects of alcohol. Yan na yun. It might result into a habitual or a habitual frequency. So, there are different types of alcohol in general. Let's take a look at them. Main types of alcohol. First, isopropyl alcohol. Isopropanol or yung 2-propanol. Yan, scientific name. Produced by combining water with propylene. Yan, yan yung tinatawag na rubbing alcohol. That is to kill germs, mainly for sterilization. Colorless, flammable chemical compound. Yeah. So, either kung 70%, 20, 30, 40%, lahat ng yan may strong odor. Yan. Delikado na kung dugay kagahit-hit og alcohol. Na. Okay? So, next, methyl alcohol. Methanol plus wood alcohol. Simply, it is created from wood. Na. Okay? So, these are poisonous, especially to the central nervous system. Once it would come into contact with the internal organs of the body, specifically, once it would have a contact with the eyes, yan, could result into blindness, coma, or kung gituyo na niya ingest, mubula-bula na ng babaan na, death. Death comes. So, yan na yun. Methyl alcohol. Simplest form of all types of alcohol. Pero yung ginagamit para sa inumin is ethyl alcohol or green alcohol. The alcohol people consume and is allowed to be ingested, known for altering mood and behavior. Okay? So, ethyl alcohol yung nasa inumin. Yan. Okay? The state of an alcoholic subjected into the effects of alcohol, intoxication. Yan na yun. You can just take a look at it. So, there are different kinds of intoxication, mga kaibigan. Yan. Involuntary. Yung lasing na tao, si Lashengo, hindi na niya alam yung intoxicating strength na take niya. That's involuntary. Yung hindi niya alam yung epekto ni Red Horse or yung epekto ni Tanduay. Voluntary, intoxicating oneself with knowledge of getting impaired. Alam niya na merong mangyayari. Pero, of course, he still took it. Voluntary. Habitual, yan na yon. Nagiging habit na constant necessity. Yan. Okay? So, next is pathological intoxication. It's the intoxication which causes the defendant or the user to suffer from a mental condition comparable to insanity. So, pathology, that's always related to insanity. Okay? Yan. So, symptoms of alcohol intoxication, watch this closely. Yan. Meron akong i-present. Yan. So, blood alcohol level, it determines the amount of alcohol present in a person's bloodstream. So, kung may 20 to 100 milligrams or 20 to 100 milligrams ng alcohol sa blood, those are the effects on the body. Reduced coordination, di na kayo kalakaw, impairment or ability to drive a car, and certain mood and behavioral changes. Once tumataas ang level, mas nagiging severe ang clinical effects. Yan. 201 to 300 milligrams, yan, hindi na nakakaisip ng maayos, hindi na nakakalakad talaga. Alertness, nako, similar to being asleep. Memory blackouts, hindi na niya nalaman kung anong nangyari, and nausea and vomiting. Pagsakit ng ulo at pagsusuka. Okay, taasan pa natin. So, 301 to 400 milligrams, musapmot na itong mga effects previously. Ang body temperature o blood pressure mo baba. That's already a sign na idala mo na yan talaga hindi sa bahay, sa doktor. Emergency room na napadulong. Na excessive sleepiness, yung grabe ng pagkatulog. And of course, there's a possibility of amnesia once makarecover. Yan. Once itaas mo yan up to 800 milligrams sa yung bloodstream, coma, that's already the possible event. Blood pressure and breathing rate would be minimized, decreased significantly. Ang pag-ihi at pagtatae would have some effects. And of course, kung wala na gyud, samot na gyud, death. Okay? Death. Next. So, sa law enforcement, may different forms of chemical test na dapat i-administer sa suspected intoxicated drivers or drivers who are under DUI or driving under the influence. Yan, influence of drugs, lahi na chemical test. Pero commonly, chemical tests for drunken drivers. Yan. Of course, breath tests. Breath tests. Yan, yan. Nabulol ta. So anyway, most commonly administered in different countries, the use of what we call the breathalyzer. The breathalyzer, yan yun. So, that is what we call yung component or yung equipment na nagme-measure ng alcohol level through the subject blowing to a pipe na connected sa system electronically. Analyzing the amount of alcohol vapor once nabugahan sa subject. Kung mosobra na sa level na allowed by their law, then he is considered driving under the influence. Of course, kung nasa laboratory na, medyo severe, blood tests. Yan. Yung kanina, it is measured. Measured yung tests ng blood. Okay? Blood or the amount of alcohol in the blood reaches to the highest level until 1 hour after drinking. Okay? And of course, yung pinaka-common, wiwi, ihi, urine tests. The least reliable, but it's the easiest. Yan. They are less accurate and tend to be used only when other tests are not available. Okay? Questions? Prostitution ako. Walay pangutana, guys. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, I'll proceed next. Guys, welcome to prostitution. Um, yeah, prostitution. It's not sex actually. Hindi yan lahat sex. Yung penetration, hindi. It is providing sexual services a client or clients kung multiple. Sabayon yan ng kanang mga females na sabayon niya ang 19 na sabay mo tanan, let's go, ana. It's not really about sex. It is providing sexual services. Of course, for financial gain. Yung sexual services, most of it involves non-penetration. Yung hindi papasok yung according to one sa korte, hindi yan involving ng isang hotdog na papasok sa flower. Hindi yon. No. Hell no. So, some other services does not involve penetration. Yan. And of course, hindi magkakaroon ng transaction kung walang agreement. Tatanggapin ni prostitute or the person who does the sexual favor, hindi yan magkakaroon kung walang agreement. Ang bayad. Bayad bago yun. Yan. Payment before excitement. Yan. Prostitution is referred to the oldest profession. Yes, it is. Nga naman, walay COVID-COVID, walay bagyo-bagyo. Basta may tawag, yan. Because it's a natural urge. Obviously, that is human nature. Pero the thing is, it became commercialized. Yan. So, yan yun. Some others made it as their form of money-making or trabaho na nila. Okay? Next. Yan. Prostitution causes, first, poverty. Common, especially sa mga countries like us, third world countries, salat sa pera. So, wala silang naisip na ibang paraan or wala silang ibang qualified na mapagtrabahuan, yun na lang ang resulta. Next, drug addiction. Siguro napugos after using a drug or pinagtripan ng mga kasama after using drugs. Yan. Hindi na niya alam pagkabukas, hubad na siya. Yan. Delikado. Liking sex, kanang meet and, yun lang, meet and, meet and the F word. Yan. So, wala lang. One night stand lang. Yun ang nangyayari. So, siguro nakasanayan na niya na ganahan siya. So, yun ang mangyari. Na constantly, kung sino magustuhan niya, sige, bayaran mo lang ako, okay na yan. And of course, influence of contraceptives. Na kung kay babae, pills. Kung kay lalaki, the great equalizer, yung condom. Yan. Okay? So, those are some of the causes of prostitution. Types of prostitutes. Yan. Okay? So, nako, sa mga babae, this is not just limited sa females. May mga lalaki din na classifications dito. But most of them are females. So, let's just be professional. Okay, let's start. Call girl. So, call girl. Tatanggap siya ng tawag from a select group of customers and makes arrangements to meet them at a designated place. Siguro, sa bahay ng customer or sa hotel. Yan. Most of call girls Ngayon, especially sa Manila, yung mga mayayaman yan, mayayaman na call girls. How to know if she is a call girl? Actually, madaming hindi nyo akalain na ganun pala sila. Yan. Especially in show business, sa celebrities. Na. There was one time yung nag-training kami sa agency pa ako, um, there was this story ng senior namin na hindi nila akalain yung Pinay na model online, yung sa Facebook pati Instagram, they were shocked na she is yung mga parokyano niya, mga mayayaman sa Pilipinas. And every meet up nila or every time na gagawin nila yung gawain, ako, milyones ang katapat niya. So, is considered a call girl. Secretive ang pag-arrange ng booking sa kanya. Okay? Next. Hustler. So, bar or tavern pickup. Yan yung term yan. Frequent places where liquor is sold. Yan. Commonly bar. Tapos yung mga babaeng nandun, yung mga nagtatrabaho doon as entertainers. Yan. Hustlers. Yan yung tawag niyan. Okay? Hustlers ang tawag sa kanila. Yung nasa bar. Tapos kahit sino lang, na lang ang eat at table. Okay? Streetwalker. So, naman na sa online, mga Pinay streetwalker, nasa streets, literally, finding a customer. Nga naman, siguro pangape lang siguro, 50 lang siguro, kopi ko na lang. Pero most of that are those women who prostitutes on the streets. Kay base hindi, nakasakay rag sakyanan o gusto og quickie lang, quickie. Na, mao na, best example ana ang Central Bank. Central Bank sa labas, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas sa loob. Sunod, door knocker na occasional ra ni very rare, especially sa Philippines. There's a selective few who usually knocks on the door of a house and then yun, murag nag-census. Murag nag-census na. Anyway, so yan yun, door knockers. Meron din tayong tinatawag na factory girls. Common kani sa mga Asian countries like Philippines and China. Na sila'y balay or na sila'y brothel na kung asa dito sila gapuyo, dito sila gastay tanan kanang mga babae, and then they would accept all customers and commerce na papasok doon at magbabayad. They are supervised by those commonly termed madams or mga mamasan na, o yung mga bugaw nila. Kumbaga, yung customer pupunta sa isang hotel and then pipili na lang siya from the pictures saan dyan ang natitipuhan niya. And then, yung babae na yun, papasok sa kwarto ni customer and then they will do the deed. Of course, ang katransaksyon ni customer, si mamasan. Yan. Personal associated with prostitution. Yan. Konting kirot na lang to, mga 3 minutes. Madam or mamasan. GM. Period. Siya ang general manager. Lahat ng transaction, kanya. Okay? Next, procurer. The one who is in charge of searching and finding girls. Siya yung scout. Yan. Siya yung nagre-recognize na, uy, guwapahang bata, uy, pwede siguro nis negosyo. Mao na, that's already part of trafficking in persons. Transporter, mao na sila ang mga drivers or yung nagta-transport ng mga na-recruit ni procurer, and then they will transport it from one town to another or from their hometown to the place of operations. And of course, nandyan din yung pimp or bugaw, one who gets customers. Yan. Siya yung nagiging transporter ng mga customer or nagdadala or nag-iengganyo, nag-invite. Pwede si taxi cab driver, bartender, or yung mismong asawa ng babae. Of course, may porsyento sa kita ang bugaw. Sir, nabanas Davao? Yes. Nabanay mga taxi driver sana, sir? Yes. Yan. That's a truth. Na, of course, some of them are the ones na naghahatid sundo sa babae. The thing with Davao is some of them are entering in schools. Na, Ateneo ba na, Holy Cross ba na, San Pedro ba na, or even UM. That's the truth. Okay? Next, types of prostitution houses. Disorder house, 4 to 8 lang, pang short scale lang. Gradually disappearing as it is an easy target of organized programs or of raids against prostitution. Furnished room houses or what we call ito, brothel. Maliliit lang na mga motels or inns, pero ang experience ng mga operators napakalawak. Konti lang din ang mga parokyano pati mga employees nila, pero you would think na respectable yung nasabing brothel or yung maliit na motel. Respectable ang itsura. Call house, merely a place where a telephone is maintained by the madam. So, yung mga customer, tatawagin lang or i-contact si madam and ipapadala na lang yung babae kay customer. Yan na yun. Ngayon, chat na lang. Diba? Konti lang si madam, mga mayaman lang, yung capable magbayad. Tapos, kung anytime tatawag ang customer, doon na ipapadala na mamasan. And last for today is gambling naman eh. So, yan. Two types of gambling, laging tatandaan, prohibited by law and regulated by law. Gambling is the wagering of money. Of course, there are values sa mga wini-wager or yung stakes. That's why it's high stakes. Labaw na kung casino gambling. Okay? Are there any questions? Questions? Questions. Please, do you have any questions? Wala na pangutana? So, if you don't have any question, this is already recorded. You can review it. So, yun, sakto, 5 minutes. So, yung QR code, isi-send ko sa inyo. And then, other documents, PPTs, isi-share ko na lang dyan sa LMS. Okay? So, again, good afternoon. And thank you for listening. So, shout out. Walay magpa-shout out. So, okay. So, thank you and good afternoon. God bless sa ato ang tanan. Mabuhay tayo kung kailan natin gusto. Okay?